A big thing that's a hot item right now in the beekeeping community. For those of you that are maybe haven't heard this, it's a really big deal. And that is, you've heard me mention the Beltsville, Maryland Bee Lab. I have toured it. I've been there. Jay Evans, great scientist that works there. It is under the threat of being closed, relocated, or whatever that means. And petitions are being signed, letters are being sent around to try to get that not to be closed. It is a place where all of us, you would send any samples in free of charge to see if you have Nosema ceranae, if you have, a problem with your bees. You send it to the Beltsville, Maryland Bee Lab. I've used it for years. Okay. Let me play a video of when I toured there at the Bee Lab in maybe a couple of years ago. I was there in 2022 when I spoke in Maryland. Let me walk you through the Bee Lab just to show you how important the Bee Lab is, that it remains open. And then I'm gonna have our team, thank you team for being here, Robbie, Jessica, Sheri. I'll have them leave a link where you can join the petition to keep it open, okay? But let me show you this video. And I'm actually in the Beltsville, Maryland Bee Lab. Let's take a tour. Jay, you are quite the researcher, I understand. Worked a few decades here?
I've been here 22 years,
wow.
So I have a longevity record, if nothing else, and we're looking at honeybee health issues.
So this is where the bees come
This is
to get tested.
Yeah.
Is that a sample there?
A little too late for the show today.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
It's from Florida, this particular sample. This is our hall of shame of different diseases that have come through. There's Brala, the bee louse.
Yeah.
There's other arthropods, AAA labs, which of course we did not find in country, but we hope not to.
Oh, yeah.
But we're doing a little work on that.
Oh, yeah. Those like small hide beetle larvae?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we have those. We have wax moth samples.
A lot of collection of terrible things.
Yeah, and speaking of terrible things, these are all isolates of American foul brood.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So these are, not for not for experimentation per se, but just to save to kind of and to see what they are. Sam checks for antibiotic resistance.
Yeah.
So we have some of that. These have all been vetted for antibiotic resistance, and just confirmed to be American foul brood. That's how this this service got going, because literally a century ago, there needed to be one place to definitively say whether people had American foul brood.
So how many samples do you think like this they get per week?
Get over 2,000 a year, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 a year.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, so this is the honeybee genetics lab.
Yeah.
Oh, this is your room.
For lack of a better name. So I do mostly genetics, but also right now our big hunt with Judy and myself and visiting scientist Eugene Ryalbov, who is just down the hall.
Yeah.
Are looking for antiviral medicines, treatments. So we're doing a lot of work. We did a lot of cup studies, bees, 30 to 50 bees in a cup, where we know they had virus, and we try to clear the virus by feeding them something in a sugar drip. We've been getting pupae from Florida, actually, from a really great, nice beekeeper, Tekka Seville, who lives in Florida, and she will send us comb. We'll pull the pupae out of those comb, and they're clean, they're healthy, but we inject them with virus, and then in those injected pupae, we can co-inject the medicine and see if we get a change in the virus level. So these were all ones from last month, and they go into here with these beads pulverized, and then we check them for virus loads, and we use this fancy machine here.
So you're essentially trying to treat for viruses and reduce the viral load.
That's the dream.
Wow.
Yeah. There's no currently known antiviral, so we're just we're checking literally hundreds of candidate compounds.
Yeah.
We thought naively we'd find something, check a few that have been used, and just realized the way of chemistry and disease and medicinal things is you've got to just. It's brute force. So we economized. We basically went from these cup studies with live bees to the pupae, and various ways of making it a bit more efficient.
Are you looking at particular viruses? Or
Yeah, that's a good question. We're really just focused on deformed wing virus right now.
Yeah.
Partly because it's so frequent and impactful, but also we have great tools to study it.
Yeah.
In this laboratory, we run quantitative checks for viruses and Nosema cerani. And it's staffed by the University of Maryland through the Bee Informed Partnership and funded by USDA APHIS. So they're our sister agency within USDA, and it's been going for now 12 years and has a wealth of data. But I mentioned the experiments with the...
oh, wow, that looks cold.
Yeah, it's super cold.
Wow.
With freezers. So we have a couple more here.
Oh.
These are bee pupae. Let's see, this is from the 26th. The plates in the lab were from the 21st. So about once a week, we'll inject the younger bee pupae with the virus and a would-be medicine.
Yeah.
And again, we're trying to not be biased at the start. We're going to just chunk through all the candidates we can.
Yeah.
So it involves just a lot of repetition injecting these, and then we count the virus level. We measure the virus levels in each.
So the viruses are on those now.
Yeah. They've sadly they all get the virus, and then this is Miguel Corona's lab, and I just want to show you real quick. So So Miguel has he's a physiology background, but he also is a really good beekeeper and does stuff in the field. These are honey, but he's working on new diets for honeybees and also their effects. And he's always got some. Again, this is not human food, so he's always got different types of pollen.
I recognize that.
Other additives that he's trying out with the pollens to try to make it a little more nutritious. So, but he's a good.
All right, so there you go. A quick tour of the Beltsville, Maryland Bee Lab. Wonderful work there. All the scientists that are there are working hard every day to help us as beekeepers, and I wanted you guys to see that. So in the comment section, there should be a link that they've posted, and tomorrow is the last day that it's open for comments. It's the last day that any beekeeper can say, please don't close the lab. We use it to make our bees healthier. Okay. So today it's going to, today and tomorrow is the last chance you get. So I've signed my name to it. I hope you will too, to keep this open. I just hate to see more and more of these important institutions, these scientific institutions closed down. And the Beltsville, Maryland's been there a century, Jay said. It's the only way that beekeepers were able to quantify whether someone had American foul brood or not. And so that's still the case today. Okay, so this is so important. Your bee inspector, when they get European foul brood samples or American foul brood samples, they were supposed to send them here to this bee lab. And Jay is a great person. He's got a great attitude, personality. He speaks a lot. He writes, as I do, for the Bee Culture magazine every month. Wonderful scientist. So do what you can. Look at that comment and see if you can find that link that we've posted there and put your name there. It's so important. Oh yeah, very good. Oh, I want to tell you one other thing. A couple of days ago, I had a person. I always offer 2 or 3 people a chance to come work bees with me. A couple of weeks ago, we had Judy. That was great video, and Judy was a great person to have. Well, this week, Patrick and I were able to work with Jamie from Ohio. Look at there. There's Jamie. He made me with his own skills, his own hands. He made that beehive for me and brought it over as a gift. My gosh, I'm going to enjoy putting that out in the yard next spring with bees in it. Jamie was a great guy. Jamie has been through a lot of struggles, overcoming cancer and battling with all that. He was a great person. I was encouraged by his positive attitude, his positive spirit. So yeah, I've still got a lot of you wanting to come work with me for a day, and I have your names. It's too late to apply for this year, but I have a lot of people that I'm still probably going to select 1 or 2 more. I'll tell you about Jamie. Oh my gosh. I said, how long have you been keeping bees? He said, February of this year. I was like, wow, you're a new beekeeper. Yep. Taking any classes? How'd you learn? Nope. Just watched you on YouTube. And I'm like, uh-oh. Anyway, he started inspecting a hive. And you know how I would sit there in my mind, I'm thinking, this is what I would do next. This is what I would do next. And evaluating if that's what they're going to do next. He was spot on. Oh my, I was so, I guess, rewarded to know that somebody has spent a lot of time watching my videos. Now I'm watching him put that into motion and actually show me that he's taken what I taught, what I teach on YouTube. He did a wonderful job working bees. I'm looking forward to producing those videos, hopefully on Saturday. So that was a lot of fun. All right. Well, we're going to have some great giveaways. I want to tell you about an awesome giveaway coming up in the next 5 weeks. Okay. I made a video today. You can watch it after this video. I made a video about how bees are getting rougher. They're getting more aggressive this time of the year. You need to wear a whole bee suit down to the foot, because I got stung 30 times on my ankles last week treating with a solid vaporizer. So I came inside and bought this suit from Foxhound Bee Company. My friend Adam, a fellow EAS master beekeeper, runs that. I'm going to actually give one of these away. They're $182. I paid $210 to get it here, but we're going to give one of these away in one of the next 5 live streams. And it may be tonight, but it's going to be within the next 5, one of the next 5 live streams. So keep that in mind, okay? My accountants told me not to do it. That's too expensive. But if I have one, I enjoy it. We're going to give one away. I'm okay getting in trouble or whatever, it'll be fine. So we'll give one away. So keep watching. Could be tonight. Could be one of the next 5 weeks or 4 weeks. All right, let me get into the teaching tonight. Oh, sorry, Robbie. I did your job a little bit there. All righty. One of us needs to punch that button. All right. So tonight I want to talk about things you should be doing this time of the year because we're about 20 something days from summer. So if you're watching this video, sometime in the future, like in the winter, you may come across a video like this. You can just hold it and know that this is something I need to watch when it gets late in summer. Okay. What you should be doing for those of you that kind of live in the U.S., what we should be doing in the month of September. All right. Most of us are wanting to harvest, have harvested, or still need to harvest, but this is harvest month. A lot of people panic. New beekeepers are emailing me and asking, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Is it too late to harvest? Is it too early to harvest? When do I harvest? Oh my goodness, I'm panicking. When am I supposed to harvest? What day do I harvest? Well, again, it's not about the day. It's about if the frames are ready to be harvested. And you tell that by making sure they're capped over in the honey super. And if they're not all the way capped over, get a refractometer for $30 off Amazon. You can test your honey to make sure, it's 16, 17, 18% moisture only, nothing higher. But so it's not really about the time. Don't panic. If you want to wait and harvest your honey in the spring, you can do that. Oh my gosh. Really, David? Absolutely. That's what old time beekeepers used to do. They didn't take honey off before winter. What happened was, I think, is that there started to be farmers market. People would harvest pumpkins and apples in the fall, and they would set up tables where they would sell soap and apples, way back in the 1800s or whatever, early 1900s. They'd set these farmers market up in the fall, big time, big city or big town things, And I think beekeepers said, oh, I could take some honey. I'll go out there and get some honey off, take it to the farmers market or the show, fall festivals is what I'm trying to say, fall festivals. And so it kind of changed. People started harvesting the honey before winter. I mean, if you just stop and think about it, it blows my mind that we would take honey off. All the honey that bees gather to make it through winter, we take off and then wonder why our bees died. Or wonder why they starved out. That's even worse. We know bees die from viruses and heavy mite loads and things, pathogens. But when they die of starvation, it can't be anybody's fault but us that took too much off. Yeah, you can leave it on there all winter long and harvest it in the spring if you want to. I've actually done that many years. It works so great. The bees didn't need it. They didn't use it. Okay, I harvest it. Make room for a new crop next year. If they needed it, it's gone. They ate it. They're healthier. Wow. Crazy thinking. And then who would imagine we'd have to use critical thinking skills to realize bees are storing up honey for winter. Anyway, if you do have excess, that's what bees are good at. If you do have more than you need or the bees need, well, then don't be too greedy. You can take some for yourself and so on. I leave about 50 pounds of honey on my bees. So in November, my last inspection is late October, early November. I got to make sure I've got 50 pounds. A super is going to weigh 30 to 40. I got 10 or 20 down in the deeps around the brood. So I got what I need. Okay. And if I don't have an extra super to get through the winter, for those of you that don't and you're panicking right now, I feed them my Winter Be Kind boards, and we've got the proteins and nutrition that bees need to make it through winter in the Winter Be Kind boards. So if you are harvesting your honey now, be careful. All of you that are new beekeepers don't know this. Be careful what you do with those wet supers that you harvested. Don't just throw them out in the yard near your bees. You'll start robbing. And also, after you harvest, please recheck for your queen. It's not uncommon to lose your queen during the times you're drawing frames out, because she can be up in those honey super frames and she can get lost or killed in all that manipulation. So do check your queen, which brings us into the next September tip. Be critical of your queen. Be judgmental. Be harsh. No, I don't mean that. I just mean, judge the queen's laying ability very carefully. Don't keep a bad queen in there. Now's the time. You still got time. There are people still selling queens. You may have a resource hive that you can pull a queen out of, but look, you got to have a great layer, people. I want to encourage you, got to have a great layer. If you don't, get a great layer in there. Please, please, please. Beekeepers are already losing hives right now. I think we're going to see more losses this fall like we did last year, maybe more. I think it has a lot to do with pilot error, beekeepers' error, not watching the queen diligently enough, making sure they have a good queen. They might just fall asleep at the wheel. Don't do that. Check for spotty brood pattern. If you got it, get rid of that queen, get a new one in there. Time's running out. Still, now's the time to get it right. Find out how old your queen is. Look at what color she is. Find out if she's more than 3 years old. It's going to be time for you to replace her. It's too risky to go through winter with her. She can die in the winter, and then when spring hits, you can't get a queen for a long time. The hive will perish in early spring. So make sure you got a fresh queen in there. If she's getting too old, for those of you that started this year with a new queen, you're fine. Now, you don't like to hear this story, maybe, but it's all about mites. If you don't care about mites, they're going to take their toll on your hive. If not this year, next year, and if not the second year, the third year is guaranteed to take your bees out. Okay. They spread viruses, especially deformed wing viruses that bees cannot live with. So what you need to do is test, treat, and test. Find your queen. Somebody told me today they accidentally killed their queen in an alcohol wash. So many people have done that. It's not uncommon to do when you do an alcohol wash. Make sure you don't get the queen in there. But you need to test bees from the brood, either capped or uncapped brood. And you want to make sure you have 3 mites or less per 100 bees, 3%. So that's what you're going for, 2 to 3% mite load. If you have more than that, you need to treat them. Use a treatment of your choice that fits the weather and the hive and the condition of your hive. Okay. And then after you treat, you need to test to see if the treatment worked. And also, please don't get stuck on one treatment. That's a little iffy if you do that. If you always use the same treatment year after year, you might start seeing the mites aren't responding to that or something. So rotating treatments is recommended by science. Okay. Now, another thing is you need to keep other things out of the hive right now. They're going to start moving in, which are wax moths, small hay beetle, mice, and robber bees. Robbie, can you show us a video of some wax moths that... Okay, so you can see here, all the little black things where wax moths have defecated the little... Oh, look at them moving around. Isn't that gross? Yeah, look at all the little cocoons they're building. And they turn into little moths, actually, wax moths. That's a larvae moving around there. And they pupate. They make these little dents in your wood. Look at that. There they are. Isn't that the grossest thing you've ever seen? It happens so easily. It really does. Look at them scurrying around. And this happens when a hive is very weak. These guys move in and they devour every inch of your comb. One little poor bee left. Weak colonies is what opens the door up for these wax moths. Wax moths do not kill hives. They come in after the hive is so weak, it has no hope of recovering. And then they come in and devour the wax. And that's supposed to be probably nature's way of keeping pathogens from growing in that wax. So always keep ahead of the game. The way that you do it is to keep strong colonies. I can't say that enough. If you want to avoid these terrible wax moth things, keep strong colonies. Those of you that have frames that have wax moth on them, clean them up, freeze them, and you got to re-wax them. They're fine. You don't need to burn your hive. I know it looks horrible. I've heard of people burning their hives with wax moths. Don't do that. Freezing them in a freezer will kill eggs, larvae, and pupae. Freeze them, scrape them off, either put some new foundation in or, new wax or something. You're good to go if that happens to you. Now, let's reduce the entrances. This is going to keep mice out. It's going to keep small hive beetle, from as much small hive beetle getting in there. It's really going to help with robbers, but it won't help every way. So you might need to consider robber screens. Robbing is going to pick up now that a dearth has happened. I made this video today, had a lot of fun making it. Please watch it after this video, but you need to wear more protective gear. I loved making this video because I think I'm saving you a lot of pain and agony and swollen fingers or swollen eyes, because the more we get into late summer and fall, the bees are more, I'm going to say it, aggressive. I say never say aggressive. You should say defensive, but whatever you want to call it, the bees aren't happy when they're all home because of an increased population. That little nice package that you got in April is big and mean now because they're protecting a whole bunch of honey. There's money in the vault to the bees, and they've got an alarm system set up on the hive that if you go in there to take some or do an inspection, the alarm goes off and they send the squadrons out to run you off. So be aware. Don't be surprised. Everybody thinks their bees got Africanized. That's not what's happened. It's just this time of the year. Be ready for it. I want to warn you. When there's a dearth, more bees are home. They have time on their hands. Wear protective gear. I bought an entire bee suit. I love it. I can't wait to use it. And I'm going to feel better about going out there. Now, another thing that everybody panics about is, David, they'll say, oh my gosh, my bees swarmed. It is fall. What happened? This is not supposed to happen. We're out of swarm season. Well, anybody that's been around beekeeping anytime or you've done your biology study of honeybees, they swarm again in the fall because there comes a fall honey flow. Today, my bees picked up pace on goldenrod. Saw a lot of goldenrod blooming, a lot of bees going out for nectar and pollen. That excites the hive to think, aha, it's spring again. It's swarm season again. Let's reproduce. We're getting crowded. We have no room to put everything. So let's swarm. It's going to happen in the fall. Don't panic when you see it. Our responsibility is to recognize our bees have heavy population now. That's what prompts a swarm sometimes on reproductive swarming. And they have that reproductive instinct. And less pheromones, QMP, is making it back to the queen. That triggers a swarm. So we need to check for swarm cells. Jamie and Patrick and I were in a hive a couple of days ago, saw some swarm cells, and we're going to have to address that. You watch that video. Anyway, you need to have extra equipment on hand. If you don't have it now, buy some, because you want to catch that swarm, save them, combine them with the hive. Don't try to overwinter a swarm unless you live in a constantly warm climate. A swarm's not going to make it in Illinois if I caught it this late. So be thinking about that. Be prepared to feed your bees. I always promote feeding your bees. Feed during a dearth. You need to really think about raising bees. Diutinous, it's called diutinous bees. Have you heard that phrase before? Another way to say it is bees of winter physiology. Diutinous is a word that means long lived. So we use that word in science to say diutinous bees mean they live a long time, 4 to 8 months. So start raising these diutinous bees and stop saying bees of winter physiology. No, you can keep saying it. I don't care. But anyway, it can start any day now that they're going to start raising bees that are going to live that long. Okay. They're going to live a long time. So get that going. The way I do that is by feeding my bees 1-to-1 sugar water with additives to excite the nurse bees to fill up on it, to build up their hypopharyngeal glands. They can make a lot of royal jelly to take care of these new bees that live 4 to 8 months. Some people ask, can I do both? Can I feed 1-to-1 and 2-to-1? Absolutely. They'll take the 2-to-1, probably store it. They'll consume and use the 1-to-1 to build up brood. Also, you can always put some dry pollen powder out on a board or something away from your hives, of course, but let the bees pick up that protein. That will help a ton. And so don't forget, you can always use the choice of your food for, whatever you're going to feed your bees now, or even in the winter, whatever your choice is, get it on hand. Don't wait too long. And finally, I want to talk about equalizing your hives. A lot of you might have bees that are weak, hives that are weak, and you might need to equalize hives by spreading some frames around, changing frames out, or combining hives. Last week, I made a video on how to combine hives, and then we went back in to see how well it worked. You need to watch those videos if you're unsure of how to combine a weak hive with a strong hive. Woo! Good teaching tonight, everybody. I love helping you guys out. That's a lot of fun. Thank you guys for all your super sticker donations coming in while I was teaching. I appreciate all of that so very much. Well, I'm here tonight to really help you guys answer some questions. Let's go ahead and have a giveaway now. And one of the things I want to show you that I'm going to give away is actually from Jared. I mentioned Jared, and it's from the Ozark Bee Barn. And he actually sent this to me, just got them in the mail today. And they're interesting. I have not tried them. Get them a little closer. It's called a beetle crusher. And if you look at it, it snaps on, I don't have a frame near me, but it snaps on the top of a frame. If this was a top bar, you snap it on the top bar, and the bees will force the beetles in here, make a little beetle gel with propolis and all. And then you come along and push down on it and have you have the satisfaction of hearing a lot of beetles being crunched at one time. Okay. And then you lift this off and you go, oh my gosh, I'm in love with these, and you'll go crazy. I've never tried them. I don't know if they work, but obviously they must, or he wouldn't be making these. And but I'm not sure if he makes and sells these, but he sent them to me. So what we're going to do is, to some winner right now, just hashtag, what is it? What are we going to say, Robbie? Hashtag giveaway or prize or something like that. Okay, hashtag prize. And we'll give away 4 of these to the winner, and you can try them. Beetles are crazy now. My friend Patrick, you guys love and enjoy Patrick, that video for me. I'll be showing a video clip. He pulled up a small beetle oil trap. There was not enough room anymore for another beetle. There was literally hundreds in one trap in one of his hives. So might be another cool way. I want you to try these. I'll give some to Patrick too. He can take home and try these. But anyway, hashtag prize for the beetle crusher. And we're hoping that this might really work well. That's crazy. Good job, Jared. I appreciate you sending those, and we'll give them a try and see if they work. One way or the other, we're going to find out. And so whoever wins that, try them out. Let us know if these beetle crushers really work. Beekeepers are always looking for the next best thing, and I am too. And this could be it. So we want to get on top of that. And this really works great. That's going to be a big help to control small hive beetle. All right, Robbie, let's go ahead and have a prize drawing tonight of who will win the beetle crusher by Jared and family from Ozark Bee Barn in Carl Junction, Missouri. That sounds like an old Western town. Carl Junction. All right. I love to watch these names go by. I don't get a chance to look at the comments, and I get to see who's here. All right. Are we stuck? Oh, there it is. Rob 12370. Okay, you're the winner, Rob. Now it's important that you email us within the next 24 hours at beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. So email us within 24 hours, beaksquadwinner@gmail.com with your mailing address, and we'll get those sent out right to you. Wonderful. Now, let me take a swig of water and wet my whistles because I want to do some answering of your questions. Give me your questions. I am ready. Let me move this. This is in my way here. Okay, David, I thought we had to apply acylic acid either early in the morning or after all the foragers were in the hive after dark. I think that the best thing, you're going to want a lot of the bees in there. Obviously, the vapor is going to kill the phoretic mites, the mites that are on the adult bees. So the more bees that are home, the better it works. Yeah, I like to do it in the morning before they all get gone. Good question. Yep. This is Ed. David, how would you transport your bees from Washington to Wyoming, 17-hour drive? Yep, that's a good question. I'll tell you how I would do it. It doesn't mean this is the only way. There's probably people that got better ideas on the comments, but I don't know how many you have. Let's say you have 2. I'd go out there at night. I would put screen in the entrance. I would put tie-down strap around the entire box, under the bottom board, over the top cover. I would move them into a trailer. I would bolt or strap them down in a trailer, and I'm going to move them. If I can do it, I'm going to leave about, I'm going to try to get most of my driving done during dark. Okay, 17 hours isn't going to be totally dark, but just try to drive mostly in the dark. That's going to be better, less heat on the hive. Do it on a cooler day. Don't get them out there on the trailer when it's hot. And that's the way I would do it. Yeah, a lot of different ways to do it. That works for me. Hi there. This is for David. First question, trying to do 2 beehive cutouts. Will they survive in the hive? Nighttime is 55 and daytime is 75. West Virginia. Depends on how many bees you actually got out of that cutout. If it's a large colony, the cutout went well. You got the queen, you got a lot of honey, you got a lot of brood, and you rubber band or tied them into frames. They got a good chance of making it. If it's weak and you didn't get a lot, you don't know if you got the queen, they don't have a lot of brood, if they're weak, it's probably not going to be a good. I never really I did that for 6 or 8 years, and I was moderately successful. It traumatizes the hive colony to pull it out of a building. It's tough, but I'd certainly try it. Nobody knows till you do it. 2 hives, 1 robbed out, but queen is strong, laying well. Second has honey stores, but appears to have gone queenless in the last 10 days. Suggestions, currently feeding with robber screen. Suggestion is to get a queen. Get a queen ASAP. Make sure they're not raising one. If they're not raising one, or if you don't have drones anymore, got to get a queen. Get a queen in that hive. Absolutely. Thank you, Melissa, for becoming a YouTube member. My YouTube membership is growing, and I appreciate that. Supporting the channel. Absolutely. When do I pull supers and do winter feedings? Just answered that, Dustin. Maybe you just got into the live stream. You pull your honey supers when they're capped over, and you decide that they're ready to be harvested. You have the time. You can leave them on there all winter if you want to and harvest them in the spring. Yep. What was the other one? Start feeding. Yeah, I mentioned that too already. That was in my teaching. So you just start feeding when you know there's a dearth and your bees aren't bringing in any nectar. They'll starve really quickly. Recent swarm capture in West Tennessee. Why would some of the bees cluster under the bottom screen on the outside of the hive? Robber screen installed. Thanks. Happens a lot. Sometimes a stray queen would be under there with a large group of bees. Other times bees are under there and we don't know why. It's almost like they thought that was the door and they're not leaving until somebody opens the screen and lets them in. It's that ridiculous. Best thing to do is, if there's not a queen in there, take it apart, get that bottom board, shake the bees in the hive. Hey, thank you, Wayne, for the super sticker tonight. I inspected a hive today that was only laying drone brood, no fertilized brood. We decided to shake them out. What has been your success rate on saving a drone brood hive? My success rate is 0 because you don't have a queen. You don't have a queen laying workers. Workers do all the work. That's why they're called workers. They'll never make it. Yeah, you got to get a queen in there. It's even hard. You can't even put a queen in there. There's no workers to even support the egg laying. That's tough. I'm using your fall feeding strategy, but my bees are consuming it slowly. Are there changes I can make? Not really. Probably getting some goldenrod. They're getting some fall asters bringing in. You want your bees to go to natural forage first. That's probably what they've decided to do. Thank you, Dawn, for that gift tonight. And I thank you that you appreciate the answering of the questions. Hi, David. What was your hive loss last winter? I've read the national average was 50 to 70%. You know what? I am very fortunate. I live in a very, very good place for bees, the way that I'm near a lot of foraging areas. And I am very unsuccessful. Every hive that I had that I lost last year was horizontal. I lost horizontal hives. I try them every year, can't do it. I will say this, you can treat for mites perfectly. You can feed your bees perfectly. You can groom them and be the best beekeeper in the world, and your bees can still die. Bees were dying under Reverend Langstroth's watch before we had mites in the country, before we had small hive beetle in the countries, before he invented the hive. And he lived in Ohio. Bees were dying then in the winter. So bees dying is not a new thing. They do have viruses. If mites were not here, our bees still have viruses that they can die from and other pathogens. American foul brood, European foul brood, chalk brood, sac brood. We have bee problems. So everybody loses hives. Don't feel bad about that. Hi, David. In order to save a case of pollen patties that the beetles are eating, can they be dissolved in sugar water? Thank you for all your help. If I see small hive beetles in the pollen patties, I will get rid of the pollen patties because they're laying eggs in there, and they'll soon turn into larvae, which will pupate in the ground and turn into more small hive beetle. I wouldn't take the chance. Thank you, EL, for your donation tonight. Appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, small hive beetles multiply so fast. What's your preferred method for insulating a hive over winter and 1 or 2 entrances? I do a little bit of everything. I've been known to use BATT, B-A-T-T insulation, like between walls, and I'll wrap a hive with that sometimes. I always have my Winter Be Kind top insulation. Our Winter Be Kind candy boards do come, the ones we sell, come with insulation on top. Everybody agrees that's where your insulation should be. Others will put it around the side. Others practice the condensing hive method where you insulate the entire hive. But I just like to usually just put my Winter Be Kinds on and not worry about wrapping them at all. I don't usually have to wrap. David, I'm moving a large hive to my apiary because a friend cannot take care of it anymore. Any suggestions, potential issues, and how to perform this? Would robbing be a big issue? Yeah, I just spoke to that on how to move a hive. You're just going to have to do it in night, block them off at night, move them at night, take it off, take the screen off at night when you get them in that location. Probably won't interfere with robbing that much in a new location. I always, when I have bees in a trailer or a truck, I have all the gear necessary: a full suit, gloves, smoker fuel, several lighters. Think of a catastrophe that could happen. You could get hit by another car, bees go everywhere. You got to fix it. That would be my tip for you. Pretend there's going to be a big problem. David, in a group I monitor, a beak recommended to add bleach to sugar water to avoid mold. No other guidance. And I wonder if that's something that's okay. Capful per gallon or avoid. Yeah, I've read some work by Randy Oliver on his site that he talks about beekeepers doing that. And it is a tiny amount. People think that it takes a lot of chlorine or bleach to sterilize water. It doesn't take much at all. It's in your drinking water, whether you like it or not, to keep it from molding. And that's your call. I'm not going to do it. I use well water, and I just make smaller amounts so it doesn't mold. I don't want to bleach my bees. I don't know. It's probably fine, but I don't like it. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like drinking water. Chlorine can leave after chemicals too. David, we did our first split, installed a new mated queen. They balled her, killed her, and we have 5 new queen cells. How long should we wait before going back into the hive? Yeah, you got to understand basic bee biology. When they lay an egg that's fertilized to make a queen, the queen will emerge in 16 days. 5 days later, she'll probably go out on a mating flight. 5 days later, she'll start laying eggs. So you're looking at just under a month after the eggs laid. Now, why did they ball her? Did you install her behind candy? That's odd. Oh, well, they balled her because they already had one in the oven. There was already a virgin queen in there. There were some cells in there. They already had one in the oven cooking. And when you introduced a foreign queen, they were like, sorry you wasted your money. Not going to happen on our watch. That's usually what happens. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Good questions tonight. All of you are just going over and over in your minds what you need to be doing this time of the year, asking those September questions. For winter, is it better to have a single deep or double deep? That's a preference. Most literature that I read, like some work by Tom Seeley and cavity size and all that, most literature that I read, almost the majority of it talks about a very large colony going through winter. Some people use single deeps and they have a good time with them. My friend Steve Rapaski in Pennsylvania uses it. He has a good time with it. Thank you for that super sticker tonight. I appreciate it. You had to be a really skilled beekeeper to get a single deep, I think. I like 2 deeps. It gives me more bees coming out of it. It gives me more options. I think a single deep for me is cutting it so close that if there's any error at all, they're going to be taken out. That's the thing with me. First time beekeeper in Minnesota, I misremembered the ingredients of the sugar water. I had mixed 2 teaspoons of honeybee healthy, 2 teaspoons of bee booster, 2 teaspoons of pollen to a quart of sugar water. Will that harm the bees? Let me think. What does the label say? That's pretty close to the label. Boy, I wish I had one in front of me. I don't. Well, here you go. Read the label. That'll make it so you read the label. It says on there, I think it says 1 to 2 teaspoons. So you're probably okay. The protein won't hurt anything. It's just going to make more bees. If you don't want more bees, you're going to have more bees and more protein you feed them. Good question. Read that label. Hi, David. Brand new beekeeper. All right. Always good to have brand new beekeepers. 3 months, actually. I have learned so much from your videos. Thank you kindly. Thank you for your work. My question is, can I feed 1-to-1 in supplements while I treat for mites? It depends on the treatment. Read the label. There are going to be some treatments that say do not feed while treating. You got to follow carefully, read that label. If it's not on the label, go to the company's website that made the product, that made the treatment. If it's not on their company's website, Q&A, send them an email and say, I'm using this. Can I also feed them sugar water 1-to-1? Always find out from the source. Yep. Don't find out on a Facebook group, on our YouTube channel. I mean, there might be good answers out there, but it changes. Companies change the position, right? So you need to find out from the horse's mouth. All right. Here in the number one state for honeybee production, North Dakota, that always surprises me. The pollen is still pouring in on the bees. Does that equate to nectar flow? Wondering if I should pull the super soon. Yeah, sometimes there are plants that produce both the nectar and pollen in large amounts, sometimes more one and less the other, vice versa. You just got to go look in your hive and see. It depends on what they're on, what they're going to, and then you can do a botany research on that plant or tree and find out. Hey, David, what's the correct protocol for switching out old broken boxes, bottom boards before winter? Does changing them affect the pheromones? We actually, let's see, did I produce that video? Yeah, I made a video with Judy. Judy and I swapped out. I made a video. It was posted 12 days ago or something, I posted a video with Judy from Texas. We swapped out a broken, torn up, you could drive a truck through the side of a honey super hole. And so it was time to get rid of that box, burn it. I'm not going to fix it. Please don't tell me how I can fix it. You guys, this thing is, if you saw it, you would just burn it. It's bad. Anyway, we just swapped them out. Yeah, you can do it anytime. The pheromone doesn't matter. You're going to put it back together pretty quick. Pheromones resume quickly, okay? Pheromones are volatile, but they resume quickly. You'll be fine. Got a few more minutes for some questions, and we're going to have one more giveaway, so don't go anywhere. Okay, 2 hives, and neither has a super full of honey. I do have full-size frames of nectar and some honey that I'll add back. I also use Winter Be Kind. Should I switch to 2-to-1 sugar water soon to get that? You can do that if you feel like you need to have more. If you use 2 parts sugar to 1 part water by weight or volume, the bees have to dry it down with less effort. And so that can help. If they don't get it dried down, it will crystallize and be useless to the bees in the hive. But you can certainly do that if you're in a pinch. Absolutely. Yep. Well, one more question before the giveaway. Are bees that are doing orientation flights today 45-day bees are winter bees? Oh, I see. No, I think I would say for me here in Illinois, they are the 45-day-old bees. They're already that old. They're taking foraging flights. That puts them at about 21 to 22 days old bees, and they're not going to live very long after they start foraging on that fall crop. It's going to be the next month that we're going to see a lot of these diutinous bees, long-living bees start being raised. Okay. All right, let's have a giveaway. Got some interesting things to give away if you want to feed your bees. And this is some minerals, but minerals. I've given this away on my channel before. And this is like vitamins and minerals. And it's got a ton listed on the back what they are, good for bees. And along with that is also, you're going to get this, Viagra. Okay, whatever that means. It is a multivitamins for honeybees. Okay, so we got 1 mineral, 1 vitamin. So these are the vitamins. What a name. Anyway, you can win these 2 tonight. Let's go ahead and have a prize giveaway for that. If you want to win that, hashtag prize. And if you've already put that in there, your name is in there already to win if you didn't win the first giveaway. And don't forget, for those of you that have entered late, this is making my accountants angry, but this is a $180 bee suit worth about $200. It's a whole bee suit, and I just made a video about it. I'm going to be giving this away with one of these within the next 5 live streams. So be sure and check back every live stream. You might win that. Okay. All right, Robbie, let's go ahead and see who might win these additives that you can do to bolster up your bees. Feeding them in the fall is going to be real helpful for you guys. Bees need more than just sugar water. I've been talking about this forever. I know news. Oh, there we go. There's our winner. You have won CRM0618. Be sure and email us within 24 hours. beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. We'll get these shipped out to you. I was talking about feeding bees in the winter or fall in the winter. I don't know, what was it? 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, and it wasn't very well received back then. People didn't think you should do that. And there are still some people that don't think you should feed your bees in the winter or fall. But I like doing that. I feel the results speak for themselves. And now we're seeing new studies showing the better we feed bees, the healthier they are. More studies are just showing that over and over again, validating that it is important to feed our bees when they don't have natural resources. But please hear me out. The best feed that your bees can ever get is natural pollen, natural nectar from nectaries of flowers, for sure. Plants and flowers, that is the best for bees, okay? But when it's not available, no reason to sit there and watch them starve to death either. I don't feel good about that either. Okay, great. All right, let's take a few more questions. Our 59 minutes, we still have time. Hi, David. Can a hive recover from a bout with a high mite load? My oldest hive got them good. I've been killing them with OA treatments, but still seeing a lot of crawlers, but they're looking better. You know, it's interesting. I read some studies about people that were using oxalic acid last year. I think it was in bee culture. They were saying that was their go-to treatment, and they still lost hives in the wintertime, even though they were heavily using oxalic acid. I think sometimes it depends on how the oxalic is being used. If it's being used correctly, if it's not all going out of screen bottom board or out the front or something, if the bees are clustered and it's not circulating, stuff like that, it doesn't kill below the cap brood. So you have to keep redoing it every 4 or 5 days for 4 or 5 days, and so you got to stay after it pretty good. A high mite count means a high virus count, a high viral load. And that's what's really hard on our bees, the viruses that the mites give the bees. So that's hard to get rid of because bees feed each other mouth to mouth, and they spread their viruses that way. So that's tough. Yep, very tough. Hey, Rich, how are you? Can you spin frames too long when extracting honey? If so, what happens to the honey? How do you know when enough is enough? Spinning and to stop. It's just a waste of elbow grease. It's not going to hurt unless you spin it too fast. You can break the comb away from the foundation that way, or wax combs can be damaged. But no, you just know by you look in there and they look dry. If you see honey still in there, you need to spin them a little bit longer. One more question for tonight. Hello, David. With this last cold snap in Ohio, could I have chilled brood in the hive now? Thank you for all your help. Chilled brood only occurs if you pull a frame up out of your hive when temperatures are below 60, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. If you pull capped over pupae, then it could chill the pupae if you hold it out of the hive too long. On their own, if you don't open it, no, you're not going to see chilled brood unless you made a split and they're really tiny. They can't keep warm. Bees will keep the brood 92 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit warm. No matter what happens, they will warm. They have muscles. They vibrate to make that heat. There's heater bees. They know how to do that. So don't worry about it. If it's a large hive, they're going to be great. I want to thank so many of you for watching, all of you for watching. So many of you are here tonight. Big crowd again, as always. Huge live stream. I'm glad I can be here for you, helping. I'm working hard for you guys to make good videos for you. And I made a lot of videos this week. I hope you won't let my efforts go in vain. Is that the right word? Because I want you to watch my videos and gain knowledge from them and know what you need to be doing and be successful at beekeeping. That's what I'm here. So our team is working hard for you. Robbie, Jessica, Sheri, Patrick, we're all working very hard for you guys to help you get the knowledge and gain the information that you need to keep healthier bees. I'm an Eastern Apicultural Society certified master beekeeper since 2010. And so I take that very serious to stick to science and to try to help you as much as I can. I try to talk in simple terms. I don't try to, make it all scientific and hard to understand. Trying to make it easy. I try to make it practical. I try to make it very common. I want to be known as the guy that helped the common everyday beekeeper understand it more and do the right things. I don't own all the information. It's not my way or the highway. That's not, if you ever hear somebody say that about me, I don't believe that. You can do whatever you want to with your bees, long as it's within reason. I think that's why bees and beekeepers have such a rich variety of ways that we keep bees. Okay. I respect that. If you want to keep bees differently than me, I'll help you keep bees as much as I can the way that you want to do it. All right. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And we don't need to get hard-headed, closed-minded that our way is the only way. If you hear that in bee clubs, you might need to find another club. Well, maybe not, but you know what I mean. All right. Well, listen, I love you guys to the moon and back. You guys are my friends, my family. You're my tribe. This is the community. We found our people here. We really have. This is fun. And I appreciate all of you so much for being here. Can't thank you enough. We're here every Thursday night on the live stream consistently. We've never given up. We're still at it. And it's been, I think we're going on our 3rd year now. So we're working hard. So please be here every Thursday night. Thank you guys for being here on Facebook. Appreciate you watching from Facebook and YouTube both. And for those of you that watch the replay, I appreciate you watching these after they get posted on YouTube after they're live. So remember, we're live. Bring your questions every Thursday night. And finally, keep your chin up. No matter what you're going through, no matter how hard the struggle is, take a deep breath. I know it can be painful. You might be going through a dark moment, but bees bring us light. They help us see through the challenges of life, to go out there, pull up a chair, watch them go in and out, find peace in our bees. We can see the light. Well, this has been great, guys. I want to make sure you know that I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.